You couldn't help being with the Princeton Times leader so long. You couldn't help. You couldn't avoid having your fingers on the pulse of the community. But I tell you, I'm so glad that you were able to come in and we could catch up with you. Now, what's been going on in your life since the Princeton Times leader?
Oh wow, that's a good question. You know, I never thought I would retire from the newspaper because I grew up in it from the time I was. Really, from the time I could walk, I was in the newspaper since my parents owned the paper here, one of the papers here, and but just back in December of 2016, they say when it's time to go, and I just felt like the Lord had other plans for me, and so we began that process of me retiring, and I retired June 30th of 2017, so been just over a year. And, Bill, people have always told me that when you're retired, you're busier than ever. And
Is that true?
I never believed that. I thought, now, that's some kind of an old
wives' tale. It
doesn't
make sense.
That does not make sense, but I have found that to be true. I'm one of those that wonder how I ever had time to work.
Yeah.
But part of that is because my wife knew that I was more available to do things, so I get called on to do things. So I'm now the grocery shopper in the house.
Really? How's that working for you?
It's worked fairly well now that I've learned where things are.
Yeah, you've got to learn the layout of the store. That's key.
And then they change it, and you're back to square one. But my wife is one. She's going to go to one grocery, and she's just going to buy what she wants to. And I consider myself more of a thrifty shopper.
Oh.
She says I'm cheap. So
I prefer the term thrifty.
I will go to 3 or 4 different places and use coupons, and she's never going to use a coupon. So, and I can talk about it because she's out of town this morning. So,
well, good. And listen, if you're hearing this, in case friends of Mrs. Hutcheson are listening, don't ixnay on this. Don't tell her. My father, he was a thrifty soul. His socks, when the elastic gave out on his socks, Chip, you'll appreciate this being a thrifty man. He would put rubber bands around the top of his socks to keep them up on his legs because he said the bottom was still good.
That makes sense to me, and so I'm in that genre. So I would do
my
that.
goodness! So you've been grocery shopping. Now, have you gotten any golf in? Is the golf game gotten better since you've retired?
I wish I could say has gotten better. I'm not getting to play as much as I want by any stretch of the imagination because I'm too busy. In
right,
because
you're busy shopping and looking for deals.
But getting to play hopefully once a week. Not been played at Barkley over in your neck of the woods at Boots Randolph.
Oh yeah.
I played twice the last 2 weeks and certainly enjoyed that course. Folks there are very nice and course is in great shape. So playing a little golf, supply preaching for a number of places. Been very busy doing that.
Right.
And that has that preparation for that has certainly occupied a tremendous
preaching
amount of
is
time.
a whole that intimidates me. I could come in and wing it on the radio, but you can't go and wing it if you're going to preach to people. You've got to have your homework done, don't you?
Yeah, you have to have it. And thankfully, pastors in this area have been very nice to call me and ask me to fill in when they're on vacation or have something come up. Been over to Katie's and scheduled to be in Katie's again in November, and a lot of areas around here getting ready to do a homecoming at White Sulphur here the first week of October. We'll be at Lebanon Baptist Church, who's one of the sponsors for your gospel singing on Sunday, and I'll be at Lebanon this Sunday. So been a very rewarding time and been very, very good for us, and really felt the Lord's blessings on us doing that, and excited about the days. I thought most people think when they retire they'll move to Florida and just kick back and take it easy, but I'll be 70 next month, and I still feel like I've got a lot of energy.
You look fit, and I heard a rumor you've been working out.
Oh, I'm glad you mentioned that. Yes, I'm a little bit of a long story, so if we need to go to commercial, I'll try to make it as brief as I can. Back several years ago, I had really great back problems. And my doctor, Dr. Buddy Cashier, said, you need to strengthen your core, in other words, your abdomen, because that'll help your back. And I was having to get a cortisone shot every few months. I started working out at Trilogy, and in 2016, July of that year, and I'm not having more back problems.
Now, do you go is it every morning?
Go
or how
about
do you?
3 times a week,
Yeah.
and I work out in the afternoons about 3:30. And Monty Goodacre, young man that works here, everybody to me is young anymore. Monty's about 46, and Monty works out with me. And then we've got a group of teachers from Caldwell County Primary School.
Oh, there you go.
And Mindy Heron, Cresta Wolford, Lindsay Rogers, Allison Seymour, sometimes Kara Jenkins. Just really good. It's an accountability time, because if you don't show up, you're going to get a text, "Where were you today? Why weren't you working out?" But what's been so interesting is we have fun with it, but there is an accountability. It's nothing that what I was interested in. I don't want to do anything real crazy heavy, so we don't take any chances of being injured. But what's really neat with those teachers, to see them after school, and they want to talk about what they can do to help their students, and that's the
awesome.
communities we live in. That's what's so great about Princeton, Caldwell County. Their job's over with for the day, but they're still brainstorming. What can we do different? How can we help these students? Really is a neat experience, just to be able to be an outsider, to look at that, and just to kind of be a fly on the wall, to hear them to talk, and their concern and their love for students and the love for what they do. So it's a great group of people. When you work out, you want to be around people that you enjoy being around, but more than anything, that you admire for what they do.
Well, Chip Hutcheson, I worked out with some women one time, and I swore never again. We were going to go walking, and I remember this vividly. So we get out there. To me, walking is walking.
Yeah.
They were like almost jog walking, and they're like, "You've got to." Women are serious about working out. I couldn't keep up with them.
Well,
I was wheezing.
That's the same way with me. My wife will say sometimes to me, "Let's go walk." Well, she's not walking me, because she runs off and leaves me. And
that's not walking
It's embarrassing.
to me.
And then you're driving around town. People see you walking. They see her half a mile ahead of me.
Look at Chip's wife.
All they say is, "Well, you cannot keep up with her, can you?" So I'm, I don't need that ridicule.
No, who needs that? Forget about that. We don't need that kind of pressure. But sounds like you're in with a good group, and I think that's the key, because I'll chase a little old ball everywhere. But as far as just going to work out, I need somebody to shame me, to call and say, "Hey, where were you?" Because
right.
I don't have the discipline. So.
Yeah, it does require some discipline, and I really like that accountability. Jesse Oliver at Trilogy is the trainer. He and his wife own that business, and really great to work with you when he knows that, for instance, with me, he's not going to do anything that would cause me to have any more back problems.
Right.
And so it's great, and he always comes up and he'll send us little videos of new exercises, and we're all saying, "Oh, please don't do this to us."
It hurts so good.
It hurts just to look at it.
But but back problem, man, I tell you what, that's rough. And if it's working, then in Kentucky, as we say, if it ain't broke, don't fix it.
That is exactly right. It has helped me tremendously with my back. I think it's helped me with my golf swing a little bit.
There you go.
So it's a good thing. Anything that'll help me with my golf game is worth doing, because it needs some help right now.
That's the carrot on. I'll just say this: it's been years since I've been on the course, but the last time I was on the course, they nicknamed me Bill Worm Burner Booth.
Oh,
that'll pretty much tell you about my golf game, Chip.
That does. That says it's hard to get that ball airborne.
Yep, unless there's water. Now, I can find the water, but that's about it. We'll have more with Chip Hutcheson at our morning visit at WPKY. Good morning. It's 8:15. 66 degrees. It's going to be another warm one today. We have a small chance for an afternoon shower at 20% and 91 for the high. You're listening to the Morning Visit on WPKY.
The doctor is in at Health First Community Health Center. Dr. Jamie Perry is ready to care for the community, providing primary care services at 1100 South Jefferson Street here in Princeton. Dr. Perry is accepting new patients, and walk-ins are always welcome. At Health First Community Health Center, we are not just another doctor's office, we are your medical home. Call us toll-free at 1-877-667-7017.
Hancock's Neighborhood Market on Commerce Street in Cadiz is the place to shop for delicious homemade goodness. Hancock's makes their own fresh chicken salad, pimento cheese, salads, and a variety of mouthwatering desserts, sure to please your entire family. While at Hancock's, be sure to visit their meat department for the best selection of USDA choice meats in the area. Hancock's Neighborhood Market in Cadiz, hometown homemade goodness, and the Hancock name you know and trust for quality for your family. Hancock's Neighborhood Market on Commerce Street in Cadiz.
Since 1978, Perry's Floors and More has been selling, installing, and servicing homeowners throughout Western Kentucky with quality flooring and workmanship. Perry's Floors and More carries luxury vinyl plank and luxury vinyl tile, carpet, window treatments, and more. Quality brands like Mannington, Shaw, Tarkett, Beaulieu, and Flexitech. There's a reason why we say you can walk on our reputation. Come see Bill and Lucy at 127 West Market Street or call 270-365-9869.
Good morning. It's 8:16, the morning visit on WPKY. We're talking with Chip Hutcheson, catching up. Now, this is a question I wanted to ask you because a lot of times when you're in media like I am now in radio, and I know your years of newspaper, especially with the Princeton Times-Leader, now that you're out of the media, you're not working in the media every day, it seems to me, nationally especially, there's kind of been a shift about how some people view the media, that there's some stressors there, the relationship between the media and other people, politicians, just one group there. But do you think that national shift of the attitude toward the media, do you think that's affected local media? Have you seen it locally? And what have you observed about the relationship between media and people now, especially with social media becoming so powerful?
That's a great question, Bill. I think for really, even it precedes the Trump administration, when the national focus or focus on national media has become so intense. But
Give you that
okay.
one there. Okay.
But
sorry, just go ahead.
That's okay. But I think there's a tremendous difference between what we call MSM, Main Street Media, and mainstream media. Communities like Princeton that have a strong local newspaper, people value that. It's the very same thing as the radio station. When the radio station was off the air here for a while, people felt a great sense of loss. And in a community where we talk about community journalism, community radio, community newspapers, people understand the value. They want to hear what's going on at city council or school board, and they trust what they hear on the radio, trust what they read in the newspaper. They want to, especially from the newspaper perspective, they want to see their kids' pictures in the newspaper. So I have not sensed that animosity that you see regarding the national media, because the community media does cover their community, and so I've not sensed that vitriolic nature that you see expressed toward the mainstream media. Now, I think one of the things that has hurt nationally are all your talk shows. It's 24/7.
That's a really good point.
How much can you say? And they bring in everybody and everybody's opinion, which is good to hear various opinions, but it just gets overwhelming. And they're searching for things to say on those 24-hour broadcast networks on TV. But no, I'm thankful. I think when we look at our media in this area, I still believe there's great respect for the job that they do and an appreciation. When the radio was off here for a while a few years ago, people felt a great sense of loss. And so I applaud Beth Mann, WKDZ, for going on purchasing the radio now. I think Joe McInerney, the Hugheses, Joe and Kathy, and then as well as the Hugheses, did a great service to this community by reviving the radio, and now with this new ownership, I think it's a great step for Princeton. It's a great service for Princeton and the people of Princeton.
And sometimes you don't miss something. I don't miss my electricity till it's gone. And,
That's
with
right.
radio, all of a sudden when you're used to having a hometown station, and I'll tell you, the community, I was talking some with Judge Dunning yesterday, and just been overwhelming.
Yeah.
this. So anything we can do to, and they don't mean it. They're not being polite. I mean, anything we can do to help you, just terrific. And Todd and the crew at the Princeton Times Leader's been terrific. Everybody welcoming us into town. So I look forward to Main Street meeting. I love that. That's a big difference. And sometimes if people realize we live and work and go to worship in the same communities they do, maybe that gives us a little extra credibility, and they realize we're just trying to do our job.
Right. And I do feel like, local radio, local newspaper has a special place in these communities, because with the explosion of social media, you never know what you can believe on that. I've seen a lot of things that have been wrong on social media, and that the local media puts all that in perspective and will clear up. I don't trust a lot of what I read on social media, but I do on what I hear on the radio and what I read in the newspaper, because I know those people are trained and they have the community's best interest at heart, and to the best of their ability, they're going to be fair and honest with what they report.
Yeah, that's well put, because this whole thing now, anything you want to learn about, you can get right on that internet, but again, like what you said, it's smart sometimes to kind of check the background and some of the things that are put out there, because it may not be from a reputable source.
That's right, and the fabrications and then the just distortions that can exist on social media are, we've seen this with the allegations of influence by Russians into elections via social media. So, nobody's ever said, well, an election's been influenced by Russians impacting newspapers or radio. That doesn't exist. It's on social media. So that, I think, gives us a much higher level of credibility as well as responsibility.
One thing that really impressed me, because I have not, other than going and coming to eat every once in a while, going to ball games, have not spent a ton of time in Princeton, but just looking around, to me, Princeton is an amazing place. Caldwell County is an amazing place. It's a pretty self-sufficient place. I mean, I think per capita, there's probably more business here based on the population, probably than, I don't know if anybody's done this study, than any other county in Kentucky, but I'm impressed with the amount of business here. It is great.
It is. We always talk about the need for more jobs. The reality here is, if somebody wants a job and they can pass a drug test, they can get a job.
That's perfect.
We're very blessed here. Certainly, we would like to have a growing economy. We want that, but we do have a lot of businesses. The strength of places like Princeton, Katie's, all of our places, I believe, are based on local business ownership. And, we look at our schools. Who's going to support your schools and your sports teams and your community activities? That's going to be your locally owned businesses. And so we want to encourage that and try. I think we need, in all of our communities, find ways that locally owned businesses can get started and can thrive and prosper. Most locally owned businesses, if they fail because they're undercapitalized from the beginning. And so we can find a way that they can have that strong footing to get started. We've got people with a lot of great ideas that want to serve the community. So we're always looking for that. But I agree with you. We've got some really good local businesses, and this is a wonderful town to live in.
I had Judge Dunning on yesterday, and I was talking about it so much you can't share what's going on with economic development and recruitment. But now, I-24, now you got I-69, you've got rail here. This would be an attractive community. I would think there's a lot to be put on the table and offered by Caldwell County.
Yes, the logistics are great, and unfortunately, so many times it's out of our control that some other states might offer better incentives, as far as tax rebates and those types of things. But we have a perfect location, as you mentioned, about the transportation, about our access to the lakes areas, and our school system, I think, is a great plus. So we do have a lot to offer. We're blessed to live here.
Yeah, that's a great community. And, of course, we're going to talk when we come back. We'll talk a little bit more. Got some things going on around the area we're going to talk about with Chip Hutcheson. So, more. Now, I'm not going to make you late for anything, am I?
No, I'm free today.
Okay.
This is part of my retirement work.
I got some people in the lobby. I'm going to visit with them. We'll be back more with Chip Hutcheson in a moment on our morning visit here at WPKY.
The doctor is in at Health First Community Health Center. Dr. Jamie Perry is ready to care for the community, providing primary care services at 1100 South Jefferson Street here in Princeton. Dr. Perry is accepting new patients and walk-ins are always welcome. At Health First Community Health Center, we are not just another doctor's office, we are your medical home. Call us toll-free at 1-877-667-7017.
Hancock's Neighborhood Market on Commerce Street in Cadiz is the place to shop for delicious homemade goodness. Hancock's makes their own fresh chicken salad, pimento cheese, salads, and a variety of mouth-watering desserts, sure to please your entire family. While at Hancock's, be sure to visit their meat department for the best selection of USDA choice meats in the area. Hancock's Neighborhood Market in Cadiz, hometown homemade goodness, and the Hancock name you know and trust for quality for your family. Hancock's Neighborhood Market on Commerce Street in Cadiz.
Since 1978, Perry's Floors and More has been selling, installing, and servicing homeowners throughout Western Kentucky with quality flooring and workmanship. Perry's Floors and More carries luxury vinyl plank and luxury vinyl tile, carpet, window treatments, and more. Quality brands like Mannington, Shaw, Tarkett, Beaulieu, and Flexitech. There's a reason why we say you can walk on our reputation. Come see Bill and Lucy at 127 West Market Street or call 270-365-9869.
8:27 at the WPKY morning visit. It's sunny outside. We're warming up rapidly. 91 for the high today. We do have a small chance for an afternoon shower. It's already 74. Our guest is Chip Hutcheson, visiting with Chip, who apparently, and you've said this on record now, are busier now than you were when you were working at the Princeton Times-Leader.
I am busier. I guess it's just a change of priorities. But I know I was in Louisville all day yesterday. Had a meeting there at the Kentucky Baptist Convention building. So left here at 7 in the morning, got back at 7 at night. So that's a day killer. So now I'm catching up with the stuff that I missed yesterday.
Well, I got confidence you'll have to reorganize. And did you work out today or
we'll work out 3:30 this afternoon?
3:30.
Somebody can join me. All my friends, all three of you, you can join me.
Well, we have record now. You did give a shout out to your workout partner,
Yes.
so got that done. Couple things going on you want to talk about around town?
I will just want to mention, I know there was information that came out over the weekend about the Feeding God's Children. It's a backpack program here. It's been going on for several years, and they're having a fundraiser October 11th at the Butler Building. And this is a great program to provide healthy meals for children, and I would encourage people to donate to that.
I was naive. My church is heavily involved in a backpack program, but the number of children who really don't have anything decent to eat from the time they leave school on Friday till they can get breakfast Monday morning, that just blew me away. And it's programs like this that kind of fill in the gap.
You know, it is, and that reality of that situation is what prompted the King's Kitchen program here that operates during the summer, because during the summer, school's out and children don't have really the food that they need to eat, and so that's why that program started. So that takes care of, helps meet that need during the summer. And this backpack program, as you mentioned, helps provide food for the weekend when they might not have the adequate food that they need. So I'm just thankful that communities such as Trigg County, Caldwell County are aware of this and are working to meet that need.
Absolutely. Anything else going on your list?
Well, I know there's a Kentucky Wired representative is going to be here today. There's a program at noon and at 5:30 at the Majestic House to talk about internet access. A lot of we don't realize it. Most people are on have high-speed internet, but there's some people still on dial-up.
That's an issue, especially rural areas. You just mentioned Trigg, Crittenden, Lyon, Caldwell. I mean, that's an issue.
It's a real issue. So this is if people want to eat, they'll pay for their own meal, but it's a free program, and all of our local civic clubs plus the Fredonia Lions Club are active in trying to encourage people to get to that meeting. If you've got questions, and I think you'll be able to find out at that meeting what the status is on Kentucky Wired. Kentucky Wired is a program that is has a purpose of extending high-speed internet access throughout the state, from eastern Kentucky, what we say from Pikeville to, I'm not going to say Paducah, but from Pikeville to Fulton probably.
Oh, then now you got it covered.
And so it gets the whole gamut of the state. And, it's been a slow process and it's become somewhat political in some aspects, but I think if you're interested in getting high-speed internet, it'd be a good meeting for you to go to, either at noon or at 5:30 today.
That sounds good. Yeah, and there's going to be an opportunity to ask some questions, too,
Yes.
for people who know. So
Right.
it's very seldom you can get that many people in one room who actually
Right.
can give you an accurate answer, but today would be a good day to do that.
I think that would be, internet is just vital today. And I think we all understand that, even though we might not like it sometimes, but it's vital. The other thing I'd mention, I'm not sure how much time we have. Alex Sims, well-known man in this community, died this weekend, and his services visitation is Saturday, I think at 11 o'clock, and then there'll be a service at 1 o'clock. Jeff Boone is doing that. Alex Sims, for young folks, might not be aware exactly of who he is, but he is the one who built Burger Queen here, which we all talk about the legendary location here in Princeton. One of those is what we call Druthers Corner, which is a stone's throw from where we are right
West
now.
Main.
We could throw a stone and hit
I'd laugh.
Druthers Corner.
I read his funeral announcement this morning, and Burger Queen, and I grew up in Marshall County. Burger Queen was the very first fast food chain ever to build in Benton, and I understand it was one of the early ones.
It was the early one. We had a KFC was the first one, which it was located, which is now the location of the new Las Agavas. And so KFC was the first one, then Burger Queen followed shortly thereafter. But Burger Queen here was the one that became legendary, and Alex and his brother Sandy had a number of Burger Queen locations and did a great job. And over the years, I've seen stories on social media where people talked about they went to work at Burger Queen. That was their first job, and how that work ethic that they had was instilled in them at Burger Queen.
I bet you he signed the check for Cindy Allen Lack. She was a Queenie Bee.
I guarantee you he signed the check. And he sold it later on to Philip Phelps, and then it became a Druthers. But it was a legendary place. I mean, you could go there. My kids loved going to Burger Queen as they were growing up. My kids, my children, ours are now 40 and 42 years old, but all the activities that they did there, and they'd have the Queenie Bee.
Oh, yeah, Queenie Bee was a big thing.
One of the great local radio TV personalities here was the late Briggs Gordon, and Briggs was on
WSIL,
WSIL,
Uncle Briggs show.
The Uncle Briggs
He did
show.
Cartoon Eyes. Remember that?
Cartoon Eyes, and that has gotten to be the last. That's a recent phenomenon nationally. People doing that.
Cartoon Eyes.
What
Uncle
Briggs called
did it
called
for years.
Cartoon Eyes, but they had Alex would have Uncle Briggs come in, and you'd see, and my kids could all do the Cartoon Eyes.
Oh man, I watched Deputy Dog on Uncle Briggs show, and his picture's out in the lobby as a matter of fact.
So it was Briggs worked at WPKY in his high school days, and but Alex was a master promoter, and that business became legendary in this entire Western Kentucky area. After he got out of that, later on, he and Don Hancock founded what Save-A-Lot, which then became Hancock's Neighborhood Market.
Well, there
here
you go.
in Princeton.
Still got a Hancock's and Cadiz.
So you've got Don's daughter Mallory Lawrence is now of course runs that business, but Alex and Don did a great job with that Save-A-Lot. And then, of course, it became took on the Hancock name when Alex got out of the business. But Alex was a master promoter, master entrepreneur, and big guy that everybody in town knew. But he had so many people that worked for him that give him so much credit for him getting them started in the workforce, and he employed a lot of high school, college students over the years.
And it comes around full circle, because earlier we were talking about the importance of small business, local small business, and there's a shining example.
It was, and it really sparked the growth in other fast food restaurants that we had here. But Alex was he was quite a character, and he was quite an encouragement to me when I moved to Princeton. He had not been advertising in the Princeton Leader at that time, and we created a good friendship, and he began to advertise because he said he just wanted to help me.
Wow.
And so and that was his motivation, and Alex has been out of the public spotlight for a number of years now in poor health, but certainly want to remember his family. Jeff, his son Jeff Sims, John Y. Sims, I have so many great memories of Alex over the years.
That's a great point. That's a great way to end it. Robert and Maggie are going to come in.
Okay.
We've got Constitution Week next week. We've got a big event coming up Sunday. I hope that this won't be your last visit. I'm gonna have to bring you in here a little more often. I learn something every time we speak.
Well, I don't know if it'll help you any what you learn, but it might give you something to laugh about later on. But yes, Bill, be glad to visit with you anytime.
Chip Hutcheson, I hope your wife wasn't listening. She could listen online at WPKYonline.com. Hopefully she wasn't.
I know that.
But you're going to get in trouble.
It's she's in California right now.
Oh,
she
we're
gets home
safe.
Thursday, so she's still asleep. It's only 20 till 7 out there.
Shoot, if my wife wasn't home, I'd be in my underwear watching ESPN. You can do all kinds of crazy stuff. All right, my friend. Thank you, Chip Hutcheson. I appreciate you coming in. I know we didn't give you a ton of notice, but you're such a good friend to me and to Ham Broadcasting, and I hope you'll come back and visit very, very soon.
I'll be glad to. Thank you. Always enjoy talking with you, Bill.
All right. Chip Hutcheson, the morning visit. We've got more coming up on Constitution Week in a moment.
The doctor is in at Health First Community Health Center. Dr. Jamie Perry is ready to care for the community, providing primary care services at 1100 South Jefferson Street here in Princeton. Dr. Perry is accepting new patients, and walk-ins are always welcome. At Health First Community Health Center, we are not just another doctor's office, we are your medical home. Call us toll-free at 1-877-667-7017.
Hancock's Neighborhood Market on Commerce Street in Cadiz is the place to shop for delicious homemade goodness. Hancock's makes their own fresh chicken salad, pimento cheese, salads, and a variety of mouth-watering desserts, sure to please your entire family. While at Hancock's, be sure to visit their meat department for the best selection of USDA choice meats in the area. Hancock's Neighborhood Market in Cadiz, hometown homemade goodness, and the Hancock name you know and trust for quality for your family. Hancock's Neighborhood Market on Commerce Street in Cadiz.
Since 1978, Perry's Floors and More has been selling, installing, and servicing homeowners throughout Western Kentucky with quality flooring and workmanship. Perry's Floors and More carries luxury vinyl plank and luxury vinyl tile, carpet, window treatments, and more. Quality brands like Mannington, Shaw, Tarkett, Beaulieu, and Flexitech. There's a reason why we say you can walk on our reputation. Come see Bill and Lucy at 127 West Market Street or call 270-365-9869.
8:39, 21 minutes away from 9 o'clock at the WPKY Morning Visit. Let's see, it's already warming up. 75 degrees. It's going to be a warm day. 91 for the high today. A chance of showers just at 20% tonight. But, boy, showers. Looks like showers Friday. 40% chance of rain Friday. By Friday night, showers will be likely. But warming up nicely. Now we've got Robert. We've got Maggie in. I've got an orange mic for you and a green mic for you. We have a big event coming up, and I believe it's Sunday, Robert. We've got to let the folks know because I think everybody's invited. And this is something that we all could use a little brushing up on. Oh, yeah. I believe. You probably have found out. Probably not you guys because I know you love history, and I love history as well. But Constitution Week.
It's Constitution Week again, and this is actually the DAR's event. They just kind of adopted me and let me hang with them. They're good people.
So you are an honorary daughter of the American Revolution.
Well, now, I don't know about that. I might be an honorary daughter of it. They ain't got that official yet.
So a little honorary or honorary. Yeah, I got you.
Yeah, there you are. But now that we've been doing this is going to be the third year.
At least the third. Yeah, at least the third year that I've been involved in it.
Yeah,
So.
I think it's the third year, and we're going to be reading the preamble to the Constitution and the Bill of Rights, and that'll start at 2:00 Sunday afternoon. And
where will this be?
It will be at Planters Park next door to City Hall.
Okay.
And bring your own lawn chair if you want to sit. It won't take a long time, but Americans as a whole need to dwell on this a little more than we have.
Why is, that was you just dovetailed perfectly my next question. Why is this so important?
Read the.
Well,
we got a little bit of history
got
here.
a little bit of history.
Fire
here.
away, Robert. I'm ready to learn.
Shameless shout out to my wife at the genealogy center. She finds these things.
This will make us sound smart. Go ahead.
She is smart, except when she married me, but that's okay. From the Caldwell County Times, the 14th of September, 1961, and I'll kind of paraphrase this real quick. We call upon all loyal citizens of our country to protect and defend the Constitution of the United States of America. The purpose of the observance of Constitution Week is to recall to the American people the true significance of the events that occurred during the week of September 17th through 23rd in 1787, and to revitalize the appreciation of our great heritage, which is the Constitution. Since in the present critical period of our nation's history, there are advocates of socialism, internationalism, world government who would subvert the Constitution and jeopardize the sovereignty of our country. It becomes increasingly important for all loyal citizens to protect this greatest of all documents, defended against all threats to its supremacy, to the end that we and our children may continue to enjoy the rights and freedoms guaranteed therein.
And the date on this?
14 September 1961, from an original proclamation signed by the President August the 2nd, 1956.
So we weren't getting along then either.
No.
Like Maggie said earlier when I showed her this, she said, well, it's true. The more things change, the more they stay the same.
I was just thinking of the saying. Of course, I enjoy history, and there'll be a special on TV, or my boys will come by. Dad, why are you watching that old stuff? And I'm like, hey, those who don't know history are bound to repeat it. That's one of my favorite sayings, because there's so much from 1961 perfectly applicable to 2018. Don't you think, Maggie?
Yeah, it is. It definitely. Like I said, the more things change, the more they stay the same. But it's an important document. It's the foundation of our entire legal system, our government system, sets out the separation of powers that have been blurred over the last probably couple of decades now. And it's important that we know the words and we understand what it's telling us and what rights and privileges it gives us and how we can continue to protect those rights and privileges.
That's the foundation. Everything's built on your judicial branch, your legislature. All that is centered around the Constitution.
Around the Constitution.
And I don't even know. I remember a long time ago, you used to have to memorize, or you'd have to memorize the preamble, and I don't know if that's still a thing in school. I hope it is, but. It's difficult in organizations like yours that kind of shed the light back on this. For everybody, that's
right.
If you're going to be an American, you need to understand your rights.
Yeah.
I always considered it to sort of be comparable to your union book. It lets you know what you can do in a way. It lets you know what the government can do in a way, and there's a line between the two, and that's what our laws are based on. So,
what do you all think, or what comes up if you have casual conversation with somebody? What are some general misconceptions maybe that we have, that Americans have about the Constitution? I mean, maybe we think something about the Constitution, but that may not necessarily be accurate. Is there something that comes up time and time again, or?
Not just the whole thing.
The whole, just realizing the whole thing.
Depends on the groups you're with. You know.
For Christians, it's the 10 Commandments, and
Yeah.
for Americans, of course, the Constitution, very, very important. And I loved what you said, Maggie, about understand what it. So you got to kind of dig a little bit on some of the meaning to translate it to today's world.
For instance, in the First Amendment, a lot of people think that it specifically says that there is a separation between church and state. It's not quite that cut and dried, and that's actually, I think the phrase separation of church and state came from Thomas Jefferson a couple years after the Constitution was drafted, or maybe after the Articles, Bill of Rights, what we call the Bill of Rights, the amendments. And it was, he was discussing his thoughts with somebody at the time.
Uh-huh.
My own belief is that it was in there so that a state religion would not be established. And over the course of the time, we've tried to separate church and state further and further apart.
So trying to ensure religious freedom so you can worship.
Yeah, we've always had a debate of strict interpretation or implied interpretation.
Well, that's the thing about the Constitution.
Yeah.
It's open interpretation and important. What's helpful, just like the Bible, to do your research and get the context.
And get the context.
Because the context in cases like that means a lot.
It does. It does.
Well, that's like Anton Scalia said. The Constitution says what it says and doesn't say what it doesn't say. So you have to, in my opinion, for whatever it's worth,
right,
be strictly by the book.
Right.
If you want to change it, there is an apparatus to change it, and you should go through the process.
Right.
And if something's found to be unconstitutional, then we do away with it and we replace it. Or maybe we don't have to replace it at all. We just do away with it. But laws, until they are proven to be unconstitutional, should be enforced.
Mm-hmm.
Just my opinion for what it's worth.
Right. Well, and everybody, and there's the Supreme Court. They look at that thing quite a bit.
Yeah, and that's what their function is. The article that establishes the judiciary and the establishment of the Supreme Court, the district courts, and the circuit, and then district courts is the lower level. But that's what they're supposed to do is if an issue comes up where somebody thinks that the laws that were passed are unconstitutional against all the elements of the Constitution as a whole, that's the Supreme Court's job, is to determine that. Not to make the law.
Right.
Absolutely.
But to determine if that law is passed within the bounds of the entire document, the entire framework of our government.
So like everything else, it could get complicated.
It can get complicated.
Yeah, as and Maggie said earlier, the lines get blurred.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Now,
that's a good way to put it.
The last several years, 20 or more, they are more and more blurry all the time because I think some people try to, and I'm accusing nobody one way or another,
right.
Some people try to read more into it than there is. And when you start looking, and look at some old dictionaries at meanings of words. And words mean things. They're put in there for a reason. These people that wrote the Constitution, James Madison and the others that assisted him, were brilliant. Men before their time. We're lucky in this country that we have had people like this that were careful in what they were doing and thought these things through as well as they could. Of course, we all get to look at it from far away, and we can see, okay, well, maybe they didn't do this, but they should have. Yep, that may be true.
That was the 1700s.
This is not the way it really is.
It has held the test of time pretty well.
It has.
And if we would use it properly, it still would. Yeah. But now, even in 1961 and in 56, of course, you have to realize in 56 the Cold War was going on, and that's the reason for all this. But when you read those words, it's exactly like now. And like you've said, one of our favorite statements is when you look at history and you ignore it, you're going to repeat it. Well, what is this now? 60 years later, and we're still repeating the same thing. Come on, people. We need to learn something.
Yeah, it'll help you learn.
If we don't keep it fresh in the minds, if people don't hear it, if they don't hear the provisions, what it's set up to do, we do forget that it's there and to use it in the appropriate way, which is why one of the reasons why the DAR, the Daughters of the American Revolution, this is something that they embrace, is the celebrating of the Constitution.
So that's kind of part of the mission of DAR.
That's part of the mission of the DAR, for such as the documents that form the basis of this country, the debates that went on and why they chose these words and what do they mean to us as Americans, as citizens. So that's one reason why the DAR believes that it's important that we keep this alive. We let the kids in school, we need to make sure they understand that we have this document.
We have some kids coming in later this week.
I know, that's great.
We're going to have some fun.
That's really great. So that's one of the reasons why we celebrate Constitution Week. Yesterday was the 231st birthday, if you will, of the drafting of the document, the final signing of the document. Of course, it took another year because we didn't have fax and email back then.
Right.
It took another year before it was fully ratified, but it was ratified by all the states. So this week is our birthday, if you will, of the Constitution.
We'll culminate with a recognition and a ceremony Sunday.
Robert does a little town crier thing. Can he do his town crier bit?
Yeah, why not? Yeah, sure. Let's hear a little town crier. Is that the heary deal?
Oh, yeah.
All right, wait a minute. Let's build suspense. We'll take a break.
There you go.
And then Robert will do this only a WPKY. Robert will do his town
He's our unofficial town crier.
Love it. I love it. I knew some criers, but not town criers. So that's a whole different thing, Maggie. All right, we'll be back with more of the Morning Visit on WPKY
Go get your bell.
in a moment.
The doctor is in at Health First Community Health Center. Dr. Jamie Perry is ready to care for the community, providing primary care services at 1100 South Jefferson Street here in Princeton. Dr. Perry is accepting new patients and walk-ins are always welcome. At Health First Community Health Center, we are not just another doctor's office, we are your medical home. Call us toll-free at 1-877-667-7017.
Hancock's Neighborhood Market on Commerce Street in Cadiz is the place to shop for delicious homemade goodness. Hancock's makes their own fresh chicken salad, pimento cheese, salads, and a variety of mouth-watering desserts, sure to please your entire family. While at Hancock's, be sure to visit their meat department for the best selection of USDA choice meats in the area. Hancock's Neighborhood Market in Cadiz, hometown homemade goodness, and the Hancock name you know and trust for quality for your family. Hancock's Neighborhood Market on Commerce Street in Cadiz.
Since 1978, Perry's Floors and More has been selling, installing, and servicing homeowners throughout Western Kentucky with quality flooring and workmanship. Perry's Floors and More carries luxury vinyl plank and luxury vinyl tile, carpet, window treatments, and more. Quality brands like Mannington, Shaw, Tarkett, Beaulieu, and Flexitech. There's a reason why we say you can walk on our reputation. Come see Bill and Lucy at 127 West Market Street or call 270-365-9869.
6 minutes away from 9 o'clock, WPKY Morning Visit. Robert and Maggie are here. We're just talking about DAR and the SAR and the Constitution reading on Sunday. And Robert has graciously agreed, and he's even brought his bell in. So get ready. Do not adjust your volume. This is the actual level on your radio of a town crier. All right, Robert, take it away.
Oh, yay! Oh, yay! Oh, yay! The General John Caldwell chapter of the DAR invites everyone to a reading of the preamble of the Constitution and the Bill of Rights to be held at Planters Park next to City Hall this Sunday afternoon at 2. God bless the Constitution and the United States of America.
Huzzah!
You said, oh, yay, oh, yay.
Oh, yay.
And then what did you say, Maggie?
Huzzah.
What the heck is that?
That's a colonial time of hooray.
Yeah.
Oh, okay, huzzah.
Hooray.
Huzzah.
H-U-Z-Z-A-H, huzzah.
I did not
The
know
Yankees
that.
use that.
Okay. All right, let's talk. We're going to talk about DAR, but Robert's talk about SAR because you're kind of the counterpart, right?
Well,
in a way?
Yes, the SAR, I'm a member of the Colonel Stephen Trigg chapter over in Cadiz. and they do these things too. In fact, I think Stephen Trigg chapter just did one this past Sunday, I think, or Monday, one or the other. I wasn't able to go, but anyway, this is kind of our thing that we do over here in Princeton. And I'm kind of, with some others, in the process of trying to start us an SAR chapter here in Princeton. But I will remain a member at Stephen Trigg. And
how do we contact you, or how if somebody's interested, how do you become a member of SAR?
Okay, if you want to contact myself, the number is 270-625-3544. Leave a message in case I don't answer the phone. I will call you back.
And it's Robert
Ward.
Okay.
Or if you want to find out if you had one of the criteria for being in the Daughters of the American Revolution or the Sons of the American Revolution is that you be a lineal descendant of a patriot, either someone who served during the Revolution, who provided aid, gave supplies, or in my own case, my fifth great-grandfather was a member of he was the militia at Concord and Lexington.
Oh, wow.
So before the actual war started. But if you're interested and you want to find out if you have a patriot ancestor, go see Linda Ward at the Glenn Martin Genealogy Library.
Oh,
and
yeah.
she's going to smack me for telling anybody this.
That's Linda Ward at the library.
Yeah.
I feel like I'm playing Clue.
Linda is she's our county historian, and she's the head genealogy librarian at the library there. And she will help people go in the right direction of finding their ancestor, and between Robert and Linda, they can get men in the SAR and ladies in the DAR.
Oh, nice. Nice.
So a little plug for some membership drive.
Plug for Glenn Martin Genealogy Library. Also, they're open Monday through Saturday from 10 to 3, except holidays, of course. And they're always willing to help anybody that comes in with anything. They have several old newspapers, several books. They've got a very, very good, maybe one of the better selections of things, maybe in Western Kentucky. They're constantly amazed, people are, when they come in and see how much stuff we've got. She has people that come back year after year. Like she had a couple from Oklahoma that came like 3 or 4 straight years.
Well, there's only so much, I guess, you can do online. Sometimes you just got to get in there.
Sometimes you just got to get into the books. Yeah.
And like everything else online, it ain't always exactly like it says it is. And my wife would say, document. That's what you have to do. Yeah. And but anyway, she is willing to help anybody, help them do their research. Now, we're not just going to do it for you, but we'll show you the right way.
Yeah, show you how to go about it.
And I would like to see us get a good SAR chapter started here, if we could, because I think this helps further reinforce things like our Constitution reading. And 4th of July, a bunch of us, our friends, got together, been doing this for several years. We get together and we read the Declaration of Independence. And we think that history ought to be kept out in the front, because it all goes back to what you said at the beginning. If you ignore your history, you're going to repeat it. And
sometimes not in a good way.
And most of the time.
Yeah, sometimes it doesn't end well.
Yeah.
Most of the time it doesn't end well. That's exactly right.
All right, one more time before I let you go. I know we got to go, but the specifics on the program Sunday, and this, you don't have to be a member of DAR or SAR. This is open to you, to everybody.
This Sunday, September 23rd, at Planters Park next to City Hall at 2:00 p.m., we will be reading the preamble to the Constitution and the Bill of Rights and a few other little tidbits out of the Constitution.
Will there be a town crier in attendance?
Who knows?
Well, since he's one of the readers, he will be.
They actually think I can read, so they let me read. Perhaps it's because I'm very loud.
Yeah, we probably will kick it off with oyez, oyez, oyez.
Thank you also. Maggie, thank you, Robert.
Thank you, Bill, for having us. We really appreciate it.
My pleasure. Here's to beautiful weather and a nice crowd Sunday. I think we'll be all right.
Bring a lawn chair and an umbrella just in case.
Good tip, because rain or shine, this is happening.
Yeah, rain or shine. We're going to happen.
Okay.
It's going to do it.
Yep.
All right. Thank you all very much.
Thank you.
you.
You're listening to The Morning Visit on WPKY Princeton.
The doctor is in at Health First Community Health Center. Dr. Jamie Perry is ready to care for the community, providing primary care services at 1100 South Jefferson Street here in Princeton.